Hi everybody, Mrs. B here. We're going to make our Renaissance clay projects today, and so I thought for those of you at home, I'd like to go through this with you so you understand about the most important part of making clay, which is scoring, slipping, and attaching. But I'm going to go through the whole project with you as well. So here we go. Okay, so we have two projects. One is a beautiful little Italian village scene, and the other one is a castle. So these are both parts of the project, and what I've done is I've just cut around the exterior, and this little bonus part, this is what you're going to use, and I'll put this in the bags that I'm sending home with the students for your bonus parts. So your roof, your steps, maybe around your door, maybe your balcony. This is a clock, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. So first things first, we're just going to take this and we're going to just draw a small line. And I'm just using my needle tool. Notice I am not cutting the clay. I'm just drawing a little line on there. And I'm just drawing around it. Now, the thing that you absolutely could use would just be a simple pencil. And a pencil is the easiest tool to use for that. I just happen to be holding that in my hand, but I'll show you what happens if you use the pencil. And there's my clock. You can always make hands on your clock. And you want to be sure that you go over each part, because if you forget something, you may not be able to get your pattern on exactly as you wanted it. And there we go. I'm sure I got that. Yep. And if you're not sure, you can simply take your finger and feel for that indentation of where you, I'm not going to make those lines, but there we go. Just making sure. The other nice thing about using a pencil, you can also see where your lines are on your project. If you use a pen, it might be a little bit too much. So we're just going to make sure that we trace over those lines. And then once you do, I'm going to make a little line there. I forgot to do that. You're going to be able to see those lines and indentations in your clay. Okay? So next, what you're going to do is you're going to take your clay and you're going to start to make some of the parts, like the roof line. I am going to see, I think, oh, that's a little bit too big, so I'm going to make that just a little bit thinner. That should fit perfectly. So now I'm just going to, as I make them, I'm just going to set them aside. For the stairs, I'm just going to make a few strips. Okay, and I can do it like this. And I can pinch them off if I want. Old steps are, there's one. I need them to be ascending, but these are really important. And I need one more. I think I'm just going to use this. There we go. Just going to move those down, move that there, and I'm going to move that one there. Okay? I think that works just fine. Okay, now I'm looking to see, is there anything else? Oh yes, I need that clock. So I'm going to take this. To be honest, the easiest way to do it is you can take something round and trace it, or you can just simply take this pattern, lay it over here, trace over the top, and then you'll have the exact size you need. Okay, I'm gonna pop that one right there. And now I need to do that door frame. I've got a nice long piece here that I think will make the perfect door frame. So I'm just gonna make a straight line. Straight line. And let's see what happens with that. Yes, it's even a little bit too big, and that's great. So I can just lay it on. Now you notice I haven't attached anything. I'm just laying it on. Okay. Now I'm going to make the roof lines. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut another narrow strip. This time I cut that in half because I didn't want it so thick. And now I'm just going to take this and put it there to there. And then I can put the next one here to there. I'm going to take that off. Okay. Oh, I need that little one. I'm going to cut that. And I know I have all my parts now, except for this roof. Okay, what comes next? I have some slip clay. Now I've used red because I want you to be able to see how I lay this down on here. So I'm going to take my clay off. I'm going to just do this one first. And I'm going to use a toothbrush because I need to score and make the back of that roughed up. I also need to rough up this part of the clay. So by roughing it with those little bristles, you can also use your brush or your tool, your paper clip, and rough this up. And then you're going to take this and you're going to just gently push it down, okay? And this you can just blend in. It's going to make it look old and antique-y. Okay, there's my, I feel like that's, let's see if I can scoot that over. Yep, I got that on there. I don't have to do too much, but I can even take that pencil and I can just kind of make sure that that's scored down and blend it in. Don't press your clay too much. If you press your clay too much, it will get thin and worn out, and it just won't hold as well as it should. It looks pretty cool with that orange on there. And see what I'm doing with my finger? I am even coming back with my pencil and I'm making that line. Now I'm not going all the way through. I'm just scoring a little bit with the window and making that go in, okay? There's all kinds of ways you can do this. Now, if you want, you can leave those little bits of clay at the bottom and they'll look like they're a window shelf. Isn't that cool? Those might even look like shutters. Okay, let's do this roof. So we're going to score and slip the back. Make sure you've got plenty of yuck on there. And push that down. Just push it a little bit so it's secure. There we go. Now we've got our roof. Okay, now we're going to take these off. If you don't like the way these look, you can eliminate them altogether. You can eliminate it altogether. And you could just take and make, well, I'm just going to make this work. I'm going to make a plain piece of, I'm going to score it and slip that edge. Score and slip this edge. It's entirely up to you. How do you want those stairs to look? If you don't even want stairs, now I'm going to blend this. I'm going to use my other tool because I'm going to need to zipper this. I need to blend that. And I need to blend it on the other side as well. Do you see that? So it will. What I can do is, I'm going to make this and this. Get those little pieces out of the way. There. So you decide whether you want to make it just the base of the building or whether you've decided you want to add the other pieces on. I scored and slipped my strips on, and I'm coming back and I'm just trimming a little of these off, and they're going to be trimmed so that they look like steps. So they have to, the strips need to get a little bit longer as they go down the steps. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see it. It's at an angle. Let me take that away. So that one's here, that one's there, this one's here. So they're going down in a little bit of a stair step. And then I'll do the same thing here. Take this piece off, a little bit over to the side. If this looks too complicated, remember what Mrs. B said. You do not have to have this on your piece if you don't want it. And again, these little pieces become parts of what you're going to create. I'm going to put that on the side. I've just attached this and I'm trimming the ends off. If you want this to look like stone, take your pencil and just make little push dents. Don't push it all the way through. Just little dents like that. And that will ensure it's stuck on there good and it will look like stone. Now, let's keep going. Okay, once you have all your pieces on, I'm just going to take a little of this red slip clay. And the simplest thing I can do is I'm just going to brush some of it on to make the roof. And it gives it a different color, doesn't it? And careful not to get too much all over. You may want to put down a garbage bag so that you have your space secure so you don't get it all over. But clay is really not that messy if you're careful. There we go. Now, I'm going to come back and I'm going to finish up my windows. Oops, I forgot my clock. I got to put that one in. So I'm going to score it on the back and put good slip. I'm going to put the slip right there and I'm going to squish that on there just a little bit. And I'm going to just come around the edges and push down just a little bit. Do you see I'm just taking a little of the edge of the clay and I'm being careful about pushing that down. You got to be careful when you do this. There you go. And now I'm going to dip my pencil in that red and I'm going to make, whoop, that'll dry, but it makes it look like that's 4 o'clock where they are. And I'm going to dip my pencil in here. I'm going to take the water off of it and I'm just going to slowly draw. Again, don't go too far. Do you see how I'm just touching those little edges to make the clay turn red? There's some great red clay in there. There we go. I still need to get these little windows done. And there's a couple over here I still need to do. There we go. And there's one right there. I'm going to take that extra clay and I'm just going to pat it in right there. If you don't like it, you don't have to keep it. You can take it right off. But I'm adding that in because I think it looks nice. I'm going to put another window right there. Maybe that's going to be my bedroom. Again, I'm going to take that clay, put a little bit right there. I'm going to make a line for my door. That's the big door. And right here, I'm going to make a balcony. So I'm going to make a doorway right there. And I'm going to take a little piece. I changed my pattern just a little bit from the others because I wanted mine to be different. There, I made a little balcony. I'm gonna add a little of that slip clay on there, put some right there. And I'm gonna slip that right there. I'm just gonna press on those lines a little bit. And there, I think I have it. Now, when I get done, I'm going to come back. If I don't like that there, I'm just going to come in, I'm just going to lightly clean it up. If I don't want that there, I'm just going to lightly clean it up. You can see what you can do with yours. If you want yours plain, if you want yours to look a little bit old, it's okay, just leave it. It will look just fine. I just wanted to show those of you that are looking, and just again, with your pencil, you can just draw that in. I'm going to do one more window. I have that in there. And voila, we have our little piece. So, for the top, we need 2 holes. We need one here, and it cannot be too close to there. And they need to be distant from each other like this, so that when Mom and Dad hang it, or we hang it from the walls, we want to be sure that it's pushed all the way through. Because if it's not, the clay has to dry really well. So that is our village. The castle is about the same thing. What we need to do is I'm just going to peel away the pattern and the extra clay. It's always a good idea if you have a wet paper towel nearby. All you have to do is just take a paper towel, plain old paper towel, dip it in a little water, wring it out so it's not sopping wet. You don't want it sopping wet. And just lay it over that extra clay that you have right there. That way it keeps it moist. Now, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the pencil. I'm going to draw over all the spots. Oops. You want to try to stay in the lines. That part's important. I made those dotted lines, but you really do not need them. You do not need those. And I'll show you what we're going to do. I just wanted you to be aware of where they were. So you'll each have your own pattern. Okay, and let's make sure we do these windows because I know I didn't get those done. And we gotta get that door in. I may not be able to do the whole door the way I want it to. My pattern got a little wrinkled, but it's okay. I'll get it. And these lines I can put in. There we go. Okay, I have my pattern. It's on there. Got my 2 windows. This one I'm going to draw in just a little bit more. There's that cone part. And I'll show you what we're going to do for that. Okay, here where you have the castle behind, what we're going to do is we're just going to take our pencil and we're just going to tap it. Just tap it behind there. And what that's going to do is it's going to make this part stand out. Just a little bit, and then you can smooth it. See that? See how that made that pop? And the same here. And it's just a little tap. Just a little tap. You're not going deep. You just need to give it a little tap. And then this will become the background. I'm going to tap that in. See how that made that pop up? That came up higher. Okay, and you can just take that extra clay and just roll it in your fingers and see if you've got, maybe there's another place you can use it. Down here I also have a spot and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm just going to go a little bit. And I'm just going to rub so that these look like they pop out. Okay, so on this top part, you can just come in and make like little boxes so it looks like stone if you want to. I like to make mine look like it's a bit of a stone castle. Stone's always cool. Okay, there we go. Just going around it with my pencil just to be sure those pop out. Okay, now you can do the same thing on your windows. You can just tap them in just a wee bit and then just go with your pencil. So this always works better if the eraser is gone. But I was trying to think of what tools do you have at home that we could certainly use to make this project. And I thought that works. And then as you compress that, you're going to make the window ledge. See how that became the window ledge? Okay. Here's your door. And again, there's another. Now, one more. You can just pick those out. scrape it away. And just those scraping marks are going to make it look like stone. You can spend as much time or as little time as you want on this. Hopefully, you're going to spend enough time to make it look like it's an awesome castle, just like if you made the Italian village. Okay? All right. The door frame. It's the same thing we did with the others. We're going to take this and I'm going to cut the door frame. Well, almost. I'm going to just stretch this with my finger a little bit, and I'm going to score and slip. There we go. Oh yeah, that looks great. Nice doorway, and I've got a little extra here. I can just blend that down. Okay, now I can take that slip clay and I'm going to make it look like a door, a wooden door, by just adding that slip clay in there. And I'm just doing the inside of the door frame. A big old castle from the olden days. I'm going to cut a piece that's the same. I'm going to score and slip it. I'm going to leave this one. I think I'm going to leave this one. And I'm just giving it a nice proper press, not too hard. And I am pressing it down at the base. Do you see how I'm taking my pencil? I'm blending it. And if I take this, I can draw those lines in. And there we go. I got my door frame. Perfect. Okay, up here at the top, I'm going to take 2 pieces of clay and I'm going to cut this in half, and I'm going to make 2 triangles. One here and one here. I'm just going to trim that off. This I'm going to take and I am going to press it with my thumb in the back. Just give it a little press and kind of curve it around. I'm going to go on here. I'm going to do those sides. And I'm going to press it on. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to just use some of that slip clay and make that up. I didn't want it all the way down there, so I'm just going to blend that over. There we go. Now, there's one important step I need to do that I haven't done, and I'll show you in a second. We'll add more slip clay when it comes back. I'll do the same to this side. I'm just going to pinch it a little bit, put this in there. I'm scoring and slipping the edges. Slipping that on, giving it a little. Now I'm making sure that point doesn't stick up. It goes off the edge. Blending a little bit. There we go. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to make kind of a Zentangle pattern and making X's on it so it looks like it's cross-hatched. Now, if you want yours to stay the same, stay plain, you can do that, but you can also go back over it. And add a little more, and that'll go right in those grooves. Now, should you want to, again, you can take that clay, just like that, and I'm going to put some right there. I'm not painting it on, so to speak, but it's almost like I'm painting it on. Okay. You can come around. This is the sky. I'm just removing that extra clay. And there you have it. Again, with this as well as the others, we don't want to put windows down here because, as you know, the archers did have little slits where they sat and were able to shoot the enemy as it approached. So we can put those in, but we don't want anything down here because when they would storm the castle, we don't want to give them any way to get in, right? Okay, so with this, the last thing we want to do is two things. Mrs. B's going to just take that off. Okay, we're going to stick a hole in there on the back. I poked a hole just in case there's any air bubbles in there. And then we're going to just right here, I'm going to stick a hole here and stick a hole here. Make sure that it goes all the way through. We want no trouble. Making sure from both sides. You don't want it to stretch out. We'll hang that with a cord and we'll use a twig to hang it with, and it should look just awesome. You can come back and clean it up and work on it as much as you feel like you need to, but if you want, you can add stain to it next. At the last class, we could add some stains to it, and that will make it look more like a castle. So I hope you're okay with what we've done, and I hope you're ready for your castle. I think you've got it. I think it looks great. If you want it a little darker, you can always do that the last day. We're going to do it when we come back, okay? So you can always add more stain. We'll do that toward the end. But for now, here we go.